Morning, everyone. Welcome to another session of structural analysis. So, in the previous class, we have taken up, problems related to flexibility matrix method, and we have came across this particular problem, wherein we have a cantilever portion in the beam. Okay, so how to solve this problem we have taken in the previous class. So this is the method which we follow to tabulate all the values of the flexibility matrix. Then following we have our matrix formed with the help of these values, that is m1 square and m1 m2 m1 m2 and m2 square. Similarly, since the beam was deflected at b, say the beam was the point b was sinking by 25 by ei, so we have used delta, that is 25 by ei in this particular problem, so to get these values. Okay, so once we get these values, simple multiplication of matrices will give you the result of unknown reactions, that is rb and rc. Now today, in today's class, we'll see a non-sway frame wherein the frame is subjected to a uniformly distributed load along with a vertical rigid member. Okay, a vertical member is allocated. You can see the diagram wherein we have a hinge support at point A and a rigid support on at point B and a fixed support at point C. So for this particular frame, we have to calculate all our unknown reactions with the help of a flexibility matrix, and along with that we have to draw the bending moment diagram for this particular frame. So once we before solving the problem, we have to first understand how many unknown reactions are there in this particular frame. So if you see the frame very carefully, we have a fixed support at joint C and a hinge support at point A. So how many unknown reactions are there in this entire frame? So totally we have three unknown reactions at point C, three unknown reactions at point C and two unknown reactions at point A. So totally how many unknown reactions we have? 3 plus 2 is how much? 5. So this is how we got 5. Okay, minus 3. What is this 3? 3 is number of equilibrium equations. So we have, for this particular frame, we have equilibrium equations as sigma x is equal to 0, sigma y is equal to 0 and sigma m is equal to 0. However, we don't have sigma z is equal to 0, even though we have sigma z as an equilibrium equation, but since for this particular frame we have only, this is a 2D frame, isn't it? So we do not have any sigma z values. So the only applicable equilibrium equations will be sigma x is equal to 0, sigma y is equal to 0 and sigma m is equal to 0, isn't it? So 5 minus 3 is how much? 2 here. So the static indeterminacy of this structure is again 2. So what we will do now here, so I'll take you to the next slide wherein you can see how we have divided our frame. So you can see here my frame has been divided in, I have removed my unknown reactions, two unknown reactions. I have kept point C as it is, whereas at point A we have removed the entire supports reactions, that is in x direction and in y direction, that is HA and VA I have removed totally. So in the previous problems, if I'll take you to the previous slides, in the previous problem we used to solve the problem from the free end, isn't it? So we have started solving the problem from the right side of the beam. Now in this particular frame, what we will be doing here, this is something which is completely different problem, isn't it? Previously we used to solve the problem from the right side, but here, depending upon the condition of the frame, we have our frame, our simply support or hinge support at the left side of the frame. So we are removing this RA and RB or VA and HA from the right side of the left side of the beam. So when you remove this one, what will happen? See, the modulus of elasticity of the beam is also given here, that is 2EI and EI for span AB. So the very first thing is, I will take the section 1 and I'll treat my origin as A, point A. Okay, my origin will be point A now. My origin will be point A, and another section I'll be taking from vertically, that is section 2 2. You can see here I have a section 2 2 over here and section 1 1 over here. Okay, these are the two sections we are taking, and these sections will remain at its own place. We will not remove the sections for M1 diagram and M2 diagram. However, we'll be removing or replacing our loads instead of sections. Okay, sections, always remember, in case of flexibility matrix method, all the sections will remain at its own place. Sections will remain at its own place, whereas we'll be interchanging the loads. So you can see here in our M diagram, I have my UDL over the entire span of BC, whereas we do not have any load on span A, isn't it, on span AB. So we will not remove, or neither will remove, neither will place, okay, external loads. So this is 4 meter and this is 6 meter. So we'll take up one more slide, wherein we'll do one thing. I'll take this slide uh, over here, and here in this problem I'll try to rotate this one so that we can see it very clearly. Okay, yeah, so you can see here. So now totally we have two slides for this particular frame. That is, this is, I have rotated this portion also, so that you will understand very easily now. Now see here, section 11 I have taken here, and it is at a distance x from point A. Now I'll take you to the previous slide. You can see here I have section A11 at in the region AB, and I have treated origin as A and limit is 0 to 4. You have to remember this one, region, origin, then limit, EI, M, M1, M2. These are the things. This is the entire table which you have to remember. Okay, this table you have to remember very carefully, and sequentially you have to write down. That is region, then origin, then limit, then EI is modulus of elasticity. Whatever the modulus of elasticity given in the question, you have to take that only. Then M is the capital M for the moments at section 11 and section 22 with respect to the external loads. Similarly, M1 and M2 are the moments with respect to the applied unit load. Okay, so all these things which you have to be very careful in taking the moments. Okay, so we were talking about this span AB. I have taken A as origin. You can see here I have taken A as origin. Whenever we take distance x from any point, that point will be treated as origin. See here, this is the point origin. And what is the limit of span AB? What is the span of AB? Span AB is 4 meters, so that is why we have written limit is 0 to 4. What is EI? EI is modulus of elasticity for this beam. That is, for span AB we have modulus of elasticity as EI only. Okay, so this is EI. Now after writing EI, we'll go to the next section, that is BC. Okay, so for span BC you can see here I have taken x as origin. I have taken x as B as origin. I have taken x distance x from point B. So this point will be my origin for span BC. See here, this is my origin. And what is this limit of BC, region BC? See here, what is the span? 6 meters. So I'll write here 0 to 6. Then again modulus of elasticity is 2EI. So 2EI, whatever the modulus of elasticity given in the question, you have to write there. If they have not mentioned any modulus of elasticity, then simply we have to take EI only. No need to take 2EI or 3EI. If they have not mentioned, don't write anything, simply take EI. If they mentioned any value, that is 2EI or 3EI, then that value you have to consider. Sometimes many problems in many question papers, previous question papers, we have seen that many examiners will not give us the modulus of elasticity of the entire beam. So in that case we have to consider EI only, that is only one EI. If they mentioned 2 EI or 3 EI or 4 EI, then depending upon the problem you have to use that 4 EI or 2 EI. Okay, very carefully you have to observe this one. Then this is how we have taken 2 EI, because it is mentioned over there. Now this I will talk about this, how we got this 0. So I'll take you to the section 11. This is section 11. So if you calculate moment at this particular location, if you calculate moment at this point at section 11, this point, so from where you will start the problem? You will start the problem from the free end. either from the left or right of the section. So I can see here my I don't have any force on the left side of the section, is it on the downside? So what is the moment developed? If there is no force, then what happens? Moment will be 0. If there is no force, then moment will be 100% 0. If because bending moment is force into perpendicular distance, isn't it? This you understood this, how we got this 0, isn't it? Now we'll take down the region BC. Now see here, region BC. I'll calculate the moment which is acting over here. So what is the intensity of the UDL? Intensity of the UDL into x into x by 2. And this is again, section is here, my load is on the left side. If it is going in anti-clockwise direction, what we will do? We'll take down minus 20 into x square. So how 10 to 8, what is that? The UDL intensity of the UDL is 40. So 40 into x by 2 will give you 2 ones are 2 twos are, that is minus 20 x square. Able to understand? Yes. Now I'll take you, we'll take down M1 diagram. This is M1 diagram, right? So in case of M1 diagram, what we have done, we have removed all the external loads. See here, we have removed all the external load, that is UDL we have removed, and we have applied, since the section sorry, the point A is hinged at point A, the entire frame is hinged at point A. So a hinge support has how many reactions? Two reactions, and we all know one reaction will go in horizontal direction and one reaction will go in vertical direction. So here in this particular point, we have applied HA, which is equal to 1 kilonewton, which is acting exactly at the right side of the beam. Either we can take right side or left side, either this side also. We have assumed on the right side, but we can assume this also. Both the assumptions are correct, but we have to make sure that whatever the value we get, ultimately the final value, if it is in minus, then it means that our assumption is in the opposite direction. Okay, our answer will be correct, our the entire solution will also be correct. But if the value is minus, if the value is minus, then that means that our calculation or the assumption which we have taken up is in the opposite direction. So either you can take it to the right side or left side, both are one and the same. Okay, so my HA is going in right side direction, and then we have taken 1 kilonewton. So now we have to calculate moment at this particular point, moment at section 11. What is moment at section 11? See here, 1 kilonewton is going in anti-clockwise. If you keep your thumb on point section 11 and see the load, it is going in anti-clockwise direction. So anti-clockwise direction, minus 1 into force is how much? 1. Now force into perpendicular distance is x. Do you see here? Minus 1 into x. Why? Because anti-clockwise direction, minus. Then again, we'll go to the section 2 2. If you see the section 2 2 here, if you calculate moment at this point, see here, this force is going in again anti-clockwise direction. Minus 4 into minus 1 into 4 is perpendicular distance. So how much you got here? See, minus 1 into 4 is minus 4. Okay, no need of x, because x is not the distance. We have taken perpendicular distance, so no need of taking x value. Okay, now we'll go to the M2 diagram. We'll go to M2 diagram. Our M2 diagram is written over here. So in case of M2 diagram, what we have done, we have removed all the external loads again, and we have applied VA, which is equal to 1 kilonewton, and which is going exactly in towards the section, towards this span AB. Okay, this is point A. Okay, so VA 1 is going exactly towards the section 11. So what happens when the force is going towards the point? It will become 0. Okay, so see here, we have for M2 diagram, it is 0. Now see here, this if you consider the section 2 2, in case of section 2 2, force is going exactly in clockwise direction. If you keep your thumb on section 2 2 and rotate it in clockwise direction, it is rotating in clockwise direction, isn't it? So what happens here? Force VA is 1 kilonewton into x, force into perpendicular distance, plus 1 into x is x here. You understood this one, right? So as soon as you calculate, as soon as we get all these values, this part is very important. You know, this part if you calculate this part very carefully, without any major mistakes, then the entire remaining part, as I'm telling you continuously again and again, that this portion will be taken care by your calculator only. You have to just insert the values, whatever the values we have, carefully in the calculator, so you all these values will get it easily from the calculator itself. But before that, these values, these limits and these ei values to be taken very carefully. All these moments, that is m1 m2, all these moments to be taken care, to be written very carefully. Okay, so we'll take down m1 by ei into dx. m1 m1 0 into x 0. Then to the next we have minus 20 into 4, minus 20 into 4 by 2. Limit is 0 to 6. Once you do that, you will get 2880 by ei. Integrated, you will get the value. Okay, it's very simple integration. We have we can easily calculate all the integration with the help of our calculators. Okay, limit is important. Limit should be provided very carefully, and don't forget to mention this 2ei. 2ei. This is again very important to mention, that is 2ei always divided by 2ei. Next, we'll go to m2. Again, you see here 0 into 0, 0 mm2. Then we have minus 20 into x square into x, integral divided by 2. Divided by 2 ei is important. Then limit is 0 to 4. You will get minus 3240 by ei. Okay. Next we will go for m1 square. m1 square. What is m1 square? Minus x into x square. Okay. Integral and limit is 0 to 4. You will get 24.33 by ei. This is 24.33 by ei. Okay, so once you get this value, similarly you will get 48 by ei. Again, in integral m1 m2 by ei, m1 m2 by ei, m1 m2 0 into something 0. Okay, then m1 m2 minus 4 into x, integral 0 to 6, integral limit is 0 to 6 divided by 2 ei, you will get minus 36 by ei. Similarly, m2 square, m2 value is 0 here, 0. X is x into integral x square x by 2 ei, limit is 0 to 6 again, so you'll get 36 by ei for it, for this one. Okay, after calculating these values, you have to do the summation of this one, that is you have to add these values, 2880 by ei, then minus 3240 by ei, then all these values you added and you sum up over here, and these are the values for our flexibility matrix, isn't it? So now we'll go to the next slide. In the next slide, you can see I have formed a flexibility matrix. F is equal to integral m1 square by ei, integral m1 m2 by ei into dx, integral m1 m2 by ei into dx, then integral m2 square by ei into dx. Now what is this delta L? Delta L is m1, capital M1 by ei into dx, then capital M2 by ei into dx. Now HA and VA, these are two unknowns, right? First we have provided, how always remember, whenever in case of M1 diagram, this M1 diagram we have provided HA, isn't it? So my first value in this one will be also again HA, then the second value will be VA. Substitute all the values, whatever the values we got here, substitute in this one. And why we got this 0? Because the frame is not sway. Okay, this is non-sway frame. The supports are not sinking anymore. So we'll be taking here, this delta will be 0 0, and how, whereas this delta L will be minus. You have to write, if we have a formula, we have derived this formula, so depending upon the formula you have to write here minus, then all these values. So once you substitute all the values and do the inverse of this matrix, the ei will go in the numerator, whereas this denominator, whatever the ei which is there in the denominator, will go in the numerator, that is ei will go in numerator, and the values will interchange because of inverse. Okay, next, these values, minus into plus, you will get minus 2880, then minus into minus plus. Okay, multiply this one in your calculators, you will get the value of HA and VA, which is 10.8 and 100.8. So what we got these values in plus sign, that means our assumption, whatever we have assumed HA and VA, whatever the directions we have assumed, vertical direction, right? VA we have assumed vertical direction, and HA we have assumed in horizontal direction. Whatever the assumptions were there, they were absolutely perfect. That is, the values which we got is in positive sign here, and here also we got it in plus sign. Okay. Now after this one, we'll calculate bending moment. Bending moment at bending moment at A will be how much? You can tell me. Bending moment at A will be 0. Why? Because at hinge support, bending moment will be 0. Bending moment at B will be, we have two unknown, we have two forces, 10.8 which is going in anti-clockwise direction. So 10.8 into 4, which is equal to minus 43.2. Then bending moment at C will be bending moment will exist at point C, isn't it? So bending moment will be 10.8 into 4 plus 100.8 into 6 minus 40 into 6 into 6 by 2. This is for UDL, this is for vertical reaction, and this is for horizontal reaction. You got bending moment at C as minus 158.4. Similarly, bending moment at D will be 10.8 into 4 plus 100 into 100.8 into 3 minus 40 into 3 into 3 by 2. So once you got these values, um, by where we are taking this one, at the center of the beam, at the center of span AB, sorry, BC. So we got the values. Now we'll tabulate in this one. You can see here, I have taken in this fashion. Okay, I have drawn the frame. First the frame like this, then bending moment at A is 0, and here it is 43.2, and here also it is 43.2, and at the center at point D we got the value as plus 72.2. Plus I am taking in the denominator somewhere here. Because of the UDL, my bending moment diagram will go in a parabolic form. Okay, so this is how I have taken positive sign in the downward side, and here also positive sign. So this is how our bending moment diagram will go for this particular frame. Okay, so it is very simple. The calculations are very simple. The only thing which we have to consider here is this table, and in the table itself we have to take down these values very carefully. These values are very very important, and if these values are taken care very carefully, then the entire problem will become easy for us. Okay, these calculations are again can be carried out in our calculators, and we'll move to the this particular span BC. If you see the span BC, we have a UDL over the entire span, and EI again, EI 2EI is again important. Whatever the modulus of elasticity they will give you, you have to write down those values. What is the meaning of EI? EI is the depth of the beam actually. 2EI is modulus of elasticity multiplied modulus of Young's modulus of the beam multiplied with the moment of inertia. Okay, so the more the EI, the more the size of the beam. Okay, the more the EI, the more the size of the beam, and less the EI, the less the size of the beam or frame or column. Okay, so gradually we will understand what are the things we are taken caring we for the modulus of elasticity. Okay, and in the next case we have the beam subjected to a non-sway frame again, and this is the frame we have, that is a rigid jointed frame, and EI is constant in this particular frame, you can see here, and the span AB is 5 meter, span BD is CD is 5 meter, and this is 12 meter. If you see the frame carefully, this is the next question. This is the next question. So if you see the frame very carefully, this is entirely a symmetric frame, isn't it? The frame is exactly symmetric frame. So this frame is also very very important. We'll solve this problem in the next upcoming class, wherein we'll take down all the symmetric moments and symmetric frame symmetric calculations all together in a one frame. And if you see the static indeterminacy of this frame is 3 now. So we'll be having M1, M2 and M, then we'll be having M1, then we'll be having M2, and again we'll be having M3 also. So totally 4 diagrams will be there, and M1, M2, M1, M1, MM1, then we'll be having moments multiplied with MM2, then MM3. Then similarly we'll be having M1, M2, then M2, M3, then M3, M1. So all these moments will be taken care, and the matrix of the size of the matrix will be 3 by 3. And always remember, whatever the size static indeterminacy of the structure is, you will see this is 2. So the flexibility matrix, the size of flexibility matrix will be 2 by 2. See, this is our flexibility matrix. The size of the matrix will be 2 by 2. If the static indeterminacy is 3, then the size of flexibility matrix will be 3 by 3. Okay, so very importantly, we have to take care of these, values. All right.